I wanted to do a video that was a little bit of a follow-up, but I wanted to go on some other things I learned since then, since that last series that I did. I wanted to talk about a couple things. One, since we last spoke, I wrote a book. It'll be out shortly. I wanted to go over this spiritual warfare, which seems to be in a lot of people's minds. I wanted to share what I was dealing with last time. I was definitely, I sounded paranoid because I was paranoid in the last video. I was afraid. There was a good reason for it, but I figured out there really wasn't a good reason. And I want to explain what exactly was going on. And it encompasses basically the whole good versus evil, how the forces work within each other inside this reality that we share. It's pretty interesting, actually. I got a pretty solid grasp of it now. I know there's more to it that I don't understand, but at least the part that I have to explain it'll make a lot of sense, I think. I wanted to go over why I know good is going to beat evil, and it has to do with that structure, that hierarchy of power, and how it all works together. First off, the book, like I said, it'll be out soon, and a lot of people ask me how I came about finding God. As a former atheist, I believe in logic, I follow truth. Anything above and beyond that goes into spiritual stuff, I think that's just a bunch of hogwash, or at least that was my previous view. And when I found God, I didn't even believe in God, not even fully, maybe 75%. I was open to the idea of it. And 24 hours later, within that period of time, I saw God. I did a lot of work to get to that point. I didn't realize I was doing all this work. All I wanted to do was just be better at life in general. And I ended up stumbling through, learning from my lessons, and I went over that in my last video series, was just explaining the lessons that I learned. In the book, I basically go through each part of my life, and then each chapter is a section of my life, and then I pull in what was the lessons that I learned and how I built it into the system that I had, how I pulled all the knowledge together, and I came up with this. Because quite frankly, this is an anomaly of what I did. This is not normal, what I figured out. This is passed down thousands of years, this knowledge, and for someone just to come along and figure it out, it's unheard of. And it doesn't make me special. I got lucky. I was persevering like crazy just to get better at life, and I ended up stumbling into this system that is repeatable, and that's what I was looking for, was something repeatable, a rules system that I knew was important to get past in my addiction endeavor. I knew I needed rules to live, and just because of this desire, this need that I had to have rules, it formed this system that anybody can follow, and it's absolutely simple. And anybody in addiction or is just struggling, is just tired of where they're at, I think this reality is all that there is to it. It's what they know, and it's just crap, and people are crap, and it's just nonsense, and we live on a dirt ball, and whatever you want to believe, first off, it's all a lie. It's absolutely a lie. And everything I talk about in the last video and the stuff I talk about in the books, and you don't even have to buy the book. It's not even a money scheme to me. I just wanted to give another avenue to help people learn more about the system and learn more about me. And a book seemed more reasonable than creating another long video series. So that'll be coming out shortly. And I want to get into this power structure. But before I get into that, I wanted to go into how I was afraid. So I had to make a choice, and I spoke about this in the video series in the beginning, where I had to pick sides. I just wanted to teach this stuff, and because I announced that I was going to teach it on my page QPin, and because the deep state which is headed by one single guy, David Rothschild. A lot of people are thinking it's Hillary Clinton and George Soros. Well, they're all part of the hierarchy. It's a structure. It's a pyramid. There are many elements to it, but there is definitely one person at the top calling the shots, and his name is David Rothschild. And he saw my post, and he's been messing with me ever since. It's not gone away. He has threatened my life numerous times. There's no way to prove it. I wouldn't even want to try. It just sounds crazy. And it really does. It only sounds crazy because what I went through with the lessons, when we chase our goals, we chase our dream, and then you understand the elements of the system that I taught, and you understand there's something that clicks inside our minds, and the way that we view the world, at least for me and for anybody else, it becomes illuminated. And illumination is just something that changes our perspective, as in, I describe fully what the experience was. It is not something that is happy-go-lucky. It's not like my life is now just perfect. It doesn't exist. There is no happily ever after. And I just learned fully that everything is my own fault. Every reason that nothing is happening or things aren't working the way that I feel like they should be is because I have not fully comprehended what I needed to understand to get there. And that system is how to get there, to that point. See, in lower consciousness, people who just go to work, come home, they just want to be happy, so they think any other emotion that is not happy, or at least content, there's something wrong with them, that they don't want to feel that. They have to, and this is how I felt, and this is how I've continually heard people, both in addiction, out of addiction, and friends, family, they all say the same things, that life just beats them up, it's not fair, it's all about just getting by, just buying your time, making the best of what we have, and taking care of our loved ones, and that's all there is to this place. And that's not true. It's not at all. This place is way more awesome, way more fantastic. This place is the greatest place we could ever be in. I mean, this is, in my eyes, if there is a heaven, we're there. We just got overrun by Satanists. They made it their heaven. And I do not believe in the religious organizations. I believe in God, in that I've seen through truth, my logical understanding of events and how I interpret them. And I found the most amazing spiritual place to be in from it. And I find that I do like scriptures, and I do find deeper meaning in this stuff. So I don't want to knock anybody that's in any of that. I think it's great. There is great knowledge in it. Anybody that's in it, you stay in it, it's fine. This stuff that I'm teaching you will just give you more meaning to it. And it's very important to understand. I was in a situation where I had to teach. And if I didn't teach, then it meant that I had to be on the sides of Satan. And I was literally sitting in a room for a week, being beaten down by Satan. And it's a very dark spirit. It's not, I like to think of it as the shadow monster in Lost, that would just be cast out, and then he shows you your fears. He shows you he basically convinces you that you're not worthy, you're not good enough. That he keeps you in this rut, and we feel like we have to accept things the way they are, and that's just not true. We don't. We have to change our own perceptions of the way things are to become happy, or at least become fulfilled. There is no 100% happy. It's ups and downs, and it's beautiful. Like last week, I was down. This week, I'm up. And it's wonderful. I enjoy the downs as much as I enjoy the ups. I enjoy the ups way more, but if I had them constantly, it would just get bored. Same with drugs. Take drugs all the time, gets boring. Distractions, you can watch TV all the time, boring. You could go and get in love with somebody, they get boring. Things just get boring if you just escaping them too much. And they say moderation. Well, guess what? Moderation, same thing. You're just going to get bored just bouncing around. Got to keep finding new stuff. No, you got to find a goal. That's the only way that I have found. I have tried every escape. I have tried everything to avoid feeling anything. I just wanted to be happy, content, whatever. And then I found out that didn't work, and I needed to find a new way, and that's where I came up with the system. And the system is just finding a goal and just getting to it. So when I announced that I was going to do this on my page, that immediately got the spotlight on me, and David Rothschild's in my life, and Satan's in my room, and I should backtrack to the Illumination time. There was another spiritual entity that I met, and his name was Mike. His name's Archangel Mike, which at the time, I couldn't even say the word God. I was an atheist all my life. I'm almost 40. Telling you right now, saying God was the most difficult word I had to say. And then I refused to, like, within 3 days, I'm having a conversation with this being. And it's not a normal conversation, I'm telling you. This reality is not the way you think it is. There's mathematicians say that the language of the universe, the language of God, is numbers. And these numbers have language to them. They do speak. They speak to mathematicians. We can do formulas to explain things, but at the same time, there's ways that the numbers talk to us. So 1 is vision, 2 is faith, 3 is strength, 4 is abundance, 5 is action, 6 is man or Satan, 7 is creation, 8 is balance, 9 is power. Now, knowing these, and then there's combinations of them, and they have more meanings on top of them, and then they all go inside of each other, and there's meanings inside those. There's a lot of really cool things that numbers do, and I never even learned anything about the numbers. It was once I became illuminated, all of a sudden, it was like this new language that just became real. It's strange. There's no way to explain it until you experience it, and I really hope you do the work, and you get to the dreams that you want, and then you fully understand the system, and it clicks, and then you'll get there too. It takes time. Like I said, you just got to get it yourself. But I end up meeting this Mike, and he's Archangel, which I just called him Mike. I refuse to call him Archangel. Mike is fine. But it turns out that this Mike spirit, Archangel Mike, is the polar opposite of Satan. And these two beings, which they can be in two places at once. So you could be sitting there, and I could be sitting here, and Mike could be sitting here, and Mike could be sitting there, same time. And he could be at everybody's side all at the same time. It's just how they work. And you won't even know he's there, or sometimes he'll show himself to you, and it's not even showing himself. You'll feel his presence. And I don't even feel his presence anymore. I just kind of know he's there, as opposed to Satan at the same time. When I felt him in the beginning, now I don't even feel him. Like, I'll have moments where David will send him to me, and he'll have him attack me. But that stopped, and I'm going to explain how this power structure worked. Because when I was making that video, I was deathly afraid. I really was, because it's like watching a thriller. Thrillers are better than gory movies, because gory, they show you what's happening. So it can be comical, it's just gross. But when it's a psychological thriller, it's the imagination that runs wild. It could be anything at all that could be coming. And that imagination was what drove me nuts. And I realized one day that this fear was the same fear that we all face when we want to do a new goal. So when we do a new goal, we all think, okay, this is great, I get excited about it, and then we'll start to think about it, we'll learn a little more about it, and then we'll see all the work that's involved, and we look at everything that has to be done, and then we look at the end thing of what somebody else has and go, oh my God, that's just so much. How does that person get there? There's obviously money involved. How do I get that? There's obviously a lot of education involved. How do I get that? There's a lot of smart people around them. How do I get them? There's so much, there's so much stuff that has to be known, but we don't know how to get there. So as soon as we try a little bit, we get a little bit of frustration, we just back off and think, oh, this isn't for me. Obviously, it's only for special people that had a good hand. And the reality is, it's our own illusions, our own doubts, our fears. And I explain in those videos that the point is that we have our those frustrations. God is teaching us those frustrations. We can start off with the facts that we have, and then we can start learning, and then we try little things, and we see what works or what doesn't work, and we keep going. And as we go little by little and just testing the waters. We don't need to be big. We don't need to incorporate. We don't need anything fancy. Just test the waters, whatever your idea is. Get one person, one cell, do what it takes, and then try again, and do it in 2 people, and then 3 people, and just keep going, and it starts to steamroll into something more, and it's fantastic. But the thing is we just have to hit those hang-ups, and those hang-ups, those struggles, that is a continual hurdle that we have to face. And the first one's always the most difficult, and each one's a lesson, and we just keep building up those tools. Their knowledge, it's wisdom, it's how we grow. So naturally, I got feared, and fear makes us stupid. So fear causes confusion. And I knew in that moment when I was making those videos, I had to make those videos. See, the thing is about this place is that we can't say that we're just good people. We need to be good people. It sounds crazy, all right? We know of those religious people, even in people who are in church. There's like the fake religious people who just go there on Sundays and then they just go off do bad stuff, and they come back on Sundays and they think that, oh, I just show up to church, I'm automatically a good person because I'm going to church. No, that doesn't mean you're a good person. You need to live a life of a good person. You need to be nice to people. You have to care for your fellow man. You have to be not selfish. And that's really all that being a good person is not totally selfish. Now, I'm going to get too deep in all this stuff. I'm trying to keep this simple. But the point is that we need to show God our actions. Just saying that we are a good person does not make me a good person. Just as saying that we're a bad person does not make us a bad person. There's so many people who beat themselves up all the time, and they're the nicest people. And we wonder, why do they keep beating themselves up? There's nothing wrong with them. I used to be one of those when I was on drugs. It's just this illusion that we spin out in our head. It's this mental prison that we're in. And so the point is that when we have fear, this fear that keeps us from doing things is the same fear that this satanic power, this spirit, this black smoke that we can't see, but we can feel, or at least we can see is around us, because it feels like it's blocking our doors, as closing doors for us, which I just watched Praying Medic's video on spiritual warfare. Fantastic. I love a lot of stuff he says. I won't go on a whole other level on what he's saying, though. So I do think you should watch that video. It's a good one. He goes into Bible, though. I'm not going to touch Bible. No scripture here. And so basically, I knew that I had to make a choice at that crossroads. It was side with God, which is love, which is selflessness, which is taking this knowledge that I know and sharing it with the world. And I needed to do it. I can't just say I'm going to do it and then go out and talk to people in random conversations, and that's the work. It's not the work. I need to actually build stuff. So part of that was making a video series just to be quick, get it out there, just so that the evil knew I wasn't going to be on their side, and that God knew I was on their side. And at least Mike. I wasn't even thinking about Mike at the time. I'll explain. But I was just thinking God. I wanted to help God. This is God. God is being overrun by the Satanist people, and that's how I see it. That's what the spiritual world is. Like, satanic people do things to harm God. That's their whole purpose. I'm going to go dark here, sorry, but this is what they do. They want us suffering. They want us poor. And a lot of people say they want us depending on the system. Yes, but that's not really what it is. When you're dependent, you're a slave. When you're a slave, you can't think. You have no fight. When they censor us on media, social media, when they tell us what banks we can use, they kick us off if they don't like what we're doing, when they so many ways that they censor us. When they shut down protests, anything that you can imagine, they just take down our strength, our voice. But they also take down our money, our opportunities. They take down our education. That's why education is just absolutely dumb. They've ruined children through entertainment. I mean, come on, everybody knows it. Every generation has seen each generation get worse and worse and worse. And it's scribbled on the walls of Pompeii, okay? Same stuff. The previous generation just doesn't know anything. It's the same thing. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But, and it's not just something that just happenstance. It's been happening over a very, very long time. There was a flourish of the United States, and then now it's just getting crushed down. It's crushed down again. We cannot have an explosion of opportunity. We want socialism to crush us all. And it's suffering. They want all of us, since everything that we see, everything that we are, everything that we think, every single thing that we are and experience is God. So therefore, the only way to attack God is to make everything suffer. And that includes poisoning the planet, EPA doing an inspection. All of a sudden, they're poisoning the rivers by accident. Oop, didn't mean to hit that valve. That happened numerous times under the Obama administration. And the Fukushima still radiating, not an accident, total thing that's done by the Freemasons. There's actually a goal of what they want, and part of it is poisoning the oceans. It's crazy how something that's prophesized 100 years ago, 200 years ago is coming into fruition right before our eyes. And I don't even say in biblical proportions. I just mean common sense in a straight book. Albert Pike, read them. Stuff is there. It's happening. This is their goal. Suffering, destroying mankind. And then these dark cults, they do the whole, a lot of people, they just go right to pedophilia. That's it. And it's not. It goes way darker. Pedophilia is not about they love kids. It is not. They hate kids. When a politician, everything a politician said is a lie. Trump and the White Hats, not lies. First time, we all know it. Media hates them for it. We love them for it. That's what makes them awesome. Everything else, we should just expect lies, because I'm not going to get any of that. But when they say they love kids and we need to protect the children, it's the opposite. They want to hurt children. Everything that's meant to protect kids is to hurt them and destroy us. And when they rape a baby, it's not because they enjoy it. They enjoy the pleasure of it. They don't enjoy the pleasure of it. They enjoy the pleasure of the screaming of the child, because the purity of the essence, the God, that has not been tainted by the society that's created by Satanists that's out there. They want to destroy and ravage the sanctity of God in that child, that baby. And they love the screams. That's what it's all about. They torture them, they put them in cages, they do all types of crazy stuff. It is all by design. They want to hurt God. They want to show who's boss. And it's all about shutting everything down. And that's what we're in right now. It's a spiritual warfare. And I want to show you why. The whole point of this is to show why good versus evil, and good is always going to win. It's the power structure of how it works. So, whole circle, God. And the polar opposites, you have Archangel Mike, who is the angel that is sent by God to fight Satan. And Satan is the smoke monster, as I like to imagine it. And when we'll have our doubts, our fears, Satan. We have negativity, Satan. Anything that's fear-driven, anything that's hate-driven, death, definitely, but sickness, they want us sick. It's all suffering, torture. They revel in it, they love it, they just can't get enough of it. They love it. That is their happiness. But the thing is that when I realized this, okay, I realized that the only way that I can stop having these satanic attacks, because David kept sending these, it would wake me up in the middle of the night, and it was just like this sucking of my spirit. It's something. I don't know how to explain it. It's still all kooky to me. It sounds crazy. If I didn't experience it, I would not be talking about this. It's insane how it is. And they have these attacks where they'll just instantly, it's like he gave you a sleeping Ambien and just hits. And it's these satanic attacks and these spiritual warfare that they'll come after us. If we are going to stand up for God's side, we're going to get attacked. And if it wasn't for the white hats who have spent the last 2.5 years, people who say nothing's been getting done, seriously, just read Q posts, sit back, relax, the show's almost over. We're going to have the best part of the show coming up. But we have witnessed a massive roll-up of all their power structure from the bottom all the way up over the last 2.5 years. It has been impressive to see, and I never thought I would see it happen. But those who've been following Q from the beginning and who have been in the conspiracy world for a long time know what has been happening. We've been seeing it. It's incredible. And if it wasn't for the white hats who have control of everything, they never expected her to lose, I would have been dead a long time ago. As soon as I made that post, as soon as I posted those videos, I would have definitely been killed multiple times. And there's other times that I definitely, I can't go in. There's parts that I really want to talk to you about, and I can't talk about them. Not because they're secret, just because it goes really, really crazy. Like I said, this place is not what you think, and I really, 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 I hope you do the work that I talk about in those videos and get to your dreams, because as soon as you understand this stuff and get to that point of illumination, you're going to see an incredible place, and this place is magical. It really, really is. But at the same time, these dark forces can use magic against us. And it's not even like we use magic. It's just the things that we need just show up. And as long as we believe they're going to show up, they're going to show up. And as we get to a higher level, things show up faster and faster and faster and faster. And it's not even like we're conjuring spells. We're just doing the work, and things get easier. There's that one quote, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And it's true. It really is. That's the light hat side. That's the side that I'm on, and that's the side I'm teaching you. The black hat side, they conjure the spiritual energy from a child, they sacrifice it, and they use that energy to go and send it off to something else. It's some seriously warped stuff. You need energy to work, to cast spells, to make things happen, and that's what they do. I am on the side of the light. I want you to show the side of God and show the love of everything. So that's important to understand. Magic is real. It's just, and you've all seen it, it's just not Harry Potter at all. So this, they send this smoke smugster, okay, as I call it. And once I started realizing that it was my own mind that was giving this thing power, I started to see the power structure in all of this. See, since God is everything and God gives us the power, everything in this place is ran by the engine of God. Everything is ran by love. See, the only way that their magic works is if they love and believe in what they're doing. They love to hurt us. They love what they're doing. It is how it works. They have a belief that it's going to happen. They love it, they believe it, they feel it, and they envision it happening, and it happens. Okay? Crash course in magic. So, this spirit would end up coming to me and attack me. But I realized one day how the spirit is nothing more than a mask. It's just draped over God's power. And since I'm on the side of love, and I'm giving back, and I'm freeing God, I realized God would never hurt me. Why would God hurt me on His side when I am trying to spread this knowledge out, because I want His children, you, to be happy in the life of your dreams with everything you have right now to get to where you want to go. You don't need to buy nothing. You don't need to buy anything I'm selling. You don't need to buy my book. Nothing I have. It's all free. It's in those videos. Ask me questions. It's wonderful. I can't wait to hear questions. I can't wait to hear your stories, what you learn, all of it. I cannot wait to hear what you guys find out, because there's so much more to learn. This place is amazing. So much knowledge to learn. Now I'll never understand it all, and I cannot wait to learn so much more from you guys. And God is never going to attack me. God is going to protect me. Once I realized this, all of a sudden, I got another attack because this entity, this spirit, it is an entity. It is a spiritual being. It is a conscious being. Just the same as when I woke up and I had a conversation with Mike through the illumination, and there's the same thing when Satan came into my life. There was a conversation. It took place. It's not as the conversation, like I said, I'm having with you. It's a completely different level of conversation. But it is just the same as back and forth, the way we're talking now. In a different context. It's hard to explain without you experiencing it. And if you listen to what I said and do the work, you will get there, and it will happen very quick for you. Not overnight, mind you. But you piece together the stuff, you'll get there. So, this being consciously aware of this decision that I realized came and attacked me. Like, first time, actual attacked me. And it's a different kind of attack. Whereas I didn't feel like I was being sucked. I didn't feel like I was having something push things into my mind, different images and stuff. Because it's what it does. It's like the smoke monster. It will put these things into your brain. You can be awake and you see this stuff being flashed into your mind. It's so weird. And I'd have to, it's so simple. It's just like, God, please get rid of this evil spirit, and it would go away. And then when I figured this all out, that was how I kept fighting it off in the beginning. But when I figured this out, it came and attacked me. And this was a different kind of attack. It enveloped me. And it was weird because it felt like I was underwater. And it happened numerous times since. Because I piss off David. Because David hears when I talk. Our phones have microphones, and because of Facebook and because of Google and everything else like that, our phones are tapped in. And they want to listen to us, they listen to us. And I will have conversations with him. And there's ways that he sends messages back to me. It's all in the numbers. There's other ways he talks. I don't want to spoil any surprises for you, because it's a trip when you start to see it. Because you will see it. I promise you that. And there's... I love pissing them off. I do. I really do. In the beginning, I was afraid. I tried to be nice, tried to be peaceful with them, because, why fight? I'm going to do this stuff. You do your thing. We're on different sides of the battle. I don't need to be back and forth with you. It's not what I need. I'm above that. Don't care. I don't agree with what he's doing, but I respect that he's got his stance. And I respect my side, and I understand that God's going to kick his fucking ass. Sorry, don't mean to swear. I'm trying really hard not to. I curse like a sailor, so really difficult to not go nuts when I'm talking about him. He just sets me off. And now it's just fun. I mean, this guy, he's like, now at this point, I'm at this point where he's that really annoying kid that thinks he's cool, but he has no jokes. They're like the worst jokes you've ever heard. They're fart jokes, sex jokes. They're just annoying. It's just... He has no character whatsoever. I found out he's afraid of bees. I found out he's terrified of people driving. Because I have my phone with it, so he sees. And I know I sound crazy in the way that this is, but it really is funny. This guy is, for somebody that instills fear with people, he is such a wuss in his own right. It's amazing to me that this guy, even his minions are afraid of him, and I can't wait for him to realize, and I keep telling him, and he gets so pissed off at me because he's just like, no, I have vision faith. I understand. You don't understand. I have strength. I know what's going on. When you believe and you have that vision, you get tunnel sighted, and that's why it's all Russia. They kept going, and they're still going to the same stuff. We're like, how are these people still doing this stuff? They have to. They have that vision, and they have to keep charging towards it. If they veer off at any point, they lose. They lose, and they know it, and they come out there. And Adam Schiff, you hear one of his lecture shops, he even knows he sounds crazy, but he has to keep going. So anyway, and these people, they're cracking, they're done, they're broken. President Trump has destroyed these people. And I never would be able to talk to this guy, the way I'm talking to him, if it wasn't for President Trump and the white hats and Q and the military and the NSA and everybody else, law enforcement, everybody who's been fighting these people, I thank them to death because they are wonderful people for breaking this man's soul. I love it because he would have destroyed me at his full strength, and I guarantee you that he would have. And so I'm not tough guy in any way, shape, or form. It was just me beating my own behind with the fear. So when I figured this all out and I was enveloped by this Satan, I felt like I was underwater, but there was like this buffer around me. And I later realized, which was just actually like 2 days ago, it was Mike, the other entity, because I was for the longest time where if there's a Satan and it's this fake mask that has no power, and the power that's there is God, then and the only power it can have is if we have fear. We fear it. It gives it power, and then all of a sudden it can close doors. It actually does some other crazier stuff. I'm not going to get into, but it does some really, really crazy stuff. If I didn't have love in my heart while I saw this stuff, I would have gotten really, really, really freaked out because they will change, I didn't want to talk about it, but they will change certain elements in our reality to make things perceived different than what they are. And if I didn't know what was happening, I never would have been able to get through it. So, and that's vision faith, faith in God and my message and my purpose. And so I later found out, a couple days ago, that it was Mike that enveloped around me and protected me from this satanic smoke monster. And there's been numerous times that he's come back and I've laughed. Every time I just giggled, and the first time I just was like blown away, and I'm there talking to the phone. I'm like, David, you're an idiot. I mean, dude, this is not how it works. You don't realize your power is only based in fear. It is no balls. There's nothing there. It's God. It's self. And he still refuses to believe that. His is the Almighty. It's his God. Obviously, his God is on top of God, and it's not. It's just this weird balance. It has to go back and forth. It's weird. And society has always had this ebb and flow. There's always been flourishes, and it's always gotten beaten down and rose back up and flourished and beat back down. There's always been stuff. But I honestly believe right now this is going to be the ultimate full global, full contact, beautiful renaissance that's going to be creative, and I cannot wait for people to hear all this stuff and do the stuff I'm talking about because it's happening. I love it. So, yes, that's the power structure. And I think it's an amazing thing. I kind of keep saying amazing because I'm still blown away that this smoke monster is just a facade. It's not real. The power is all God. And so these people are in spiritual warfare. My message to you, it is to not be afraid. Know that you're doing good. Know that being afraid is giving it energy. It is giving it a power source. The less we're afraid, the less power it has, and we just choose things with love or just care or believe and just know fully everything that we're doing is going to be protected by God, as long as we're on that side. If you decide to be selfish and you want to have a dream, excuse me, I'm getting hiccups again. I guess I'm talking so much. If you want to go and have a dream, and you want to be selfish about it, and you want to be better than everybody else, and you don't want to share anything, you don't want to teach anything, you don't want to, these people, come on, they're the ones that flash it. The best examples are politicians. Look at Nancy Pelosi, look at Dianne Feinstein, look at these people. They're awful, awful, awful people. They really are. But it's all because they steal. They're selfish. They want everything for themselves, and they don't care about anybody. They have this arrogance about them. They're better than us. And they believe it because it's what their worldview is. It's their purpose. You do that, yeah, you're not going to have strong power. But if you want to have strong power and you want to be able to get to where you want to go in the fastest way possible, do things that benefit society. There are so many ways to benefit society. And we have, thank God for President Trump and his willingness to charge on and deregulate, and Ivanka Trump has done so much. There are so many doors that she's opened up, that she is just this silent person that nobody even thinks about. She has done so many things for women, for prisoners. Jared Kushner's key in that. There's so many things these people have been doing. They're opening doors. They're opening doors for inner communities. Nobody's even talking about that. The inner communities, the amount of revenues going in there, the amount they're for trade education. It's fantastic for both, not just for criminals, but for people who are just poor to have access to something, and then have grants. And then the healthcare is being revamped. That's just new stuff that's being unfolded out. You have the prisoners training, the Second Chance program. There's so many things. They're working heavily on giving felons a second chance so that once they pay their debt, they can get back into society and actually be able to live a life and not be just held down like I have been. In fact, if these Satanists didn't go and want to bog down everybody and shut down people like me, I never would have learned this stuff. I got shut down from all of the opportunities I could have. I was forced to learn outside the box. And because of that, and it's the other irony, is that their own creation created me. I became an anomaly inside of their power structure that they were using to shut us all down, which is, again, amazing. So much luck that I saw, and it's hard to be accepting of saying, well, I have just spent my entire life having God groom me to be in this position to share this knowledge, because nobody else is going to share this with you. I'm going to tell you that right now. Nobody's going to share this with you at all. People are deathly afraid. When I put that video out, I got so many people who are in Freemasons, and there are excellent people in Freemasons, and I've always thought that. And I never knew until I put videos up on LiveLeak. I have never gotten so many messages, and by the way, I put up my video series. It's on YouTube and BitChute, but I also put it on LiveLeak. I wanted to make sure there was no censorship. And LiveLeak, no censorship. They got people dying on there and everything. No censorship whatsoever. I put this message on here. Oh, it's bad. Not good for the community. So, but the ones that I did get put up there, there's only a couple in the beginning before I even got to the good stuff. I got so many Freemasons that sent letters, comments thanking me for putting it out there. They wanted to do it. They tried to get people from the inside. They joined to even get the knowledge out. They tried, and they need to share. They do. I think they need to. I mean, it's up to them. They have a secret oath, and there's death threats against them. There's death threats against me. But I won't put anybody in line. They have to make their choice. And if it wasn't for the White Hats and the way they monitored his people, I'm pretty sure that I would have taken out. There has been little coincidences that I believe that the Q team has been protecting me. I have no definitive thing. There are no coincidences according to Q, but there's been little nudges and things that I've seen along the way that made me believe such. So, trying to think of what else I want to share with you. I share with David that he's a tool. I just got to get that out there. I mean, really. I actually I taped a picture and printed it out, put it in my toilet, and so I piss on him now. I love that. It's like 2 days now. Every time I piss, I get so happy. And I'm always like, hey, David, I'm pissing on you. He gets pissed. It's the little things. I mean, I was afraid for so long, and at least mildly afraid, and just trying to keep getting this word out and putting the truth out. I actually stopped posting on QPin for a while. I had to share the knowledge. I had to write the book, and I had to do action, because that's the other thing. If I sat still, I would have more spiritual attacks. They would. I don't want to go into this, but there's negative thoughts. That's all linked to Satan. But there's also more visual stuff that would happen, and when I'd be distracted, it would make that stuff go away. So I had to be active. So I had to stop posting for a while. But I'm back to posting on Cupin. And thankfully, because I got to another level, I had to keep working and keep getting higher and higher in the levels, which was so important. The door just freakishly opened next to me. So to sum things up, I have a book coming out soon. I look forward to getting it out there. I'm not exactly sure when, but it will be sure. It's done. If you want to follow the truth as I see it, I post daily current news, no fanaticism. It's just straight Q posts or straight news stories, and I mix it up with funny, informative little nuggets of Twitter commentary. I found that's a great way to spread truth. They'll call them little red pills. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for Cupin. You can find me on Etsy. I sell Cupin, little flag with a Q on it. It's a really discreet way that's great to share your support for Q, and it also sparks conversations with those who might not be known for Q, understand Q. It's great red pilling. That's the way I see it. It's great for work or just going out. It's not flashy. A lot of people go nuts with the hats and the shirts and whatnot, and that's great. It is. It's great for Trump rallies. It's great for going out to fairs, whatever. But for work, it's great to have something a little more subtle, and that's really what I want to push, something that was more subtle. Yeah, share this video, share these other videos that I talk about, and I plan on making more videos. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to talk about. A lot of wild stuff about this place. A lot of more tips and tricks about the system I'd love to share with you. And I got some other special surprises after the book comes out that I have planned. I have a lot of really cool things that are in the works. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. This is going to be great. I look forward to it. And I can't wait to hear what your dreams are and how you're doing getting your goals, and anything that you've learned that you think is worth sharing. I would love to hear it. I truly would. And for those of you dealing with spiritual attacks, I hope that I gave you enough to fend off anything that you feel you need to be fend off with. Just know we're on the side that's winning. As long as you're on the side of love, you're on the right side.